There we go. All righty, so let's just find a comfortable seat, whatever that means. Probably something soft to sit on or a little supportive, so you don't get too sore there sitting right on the floor. Or there we go. And just allow your knees to fall away, your spine to rise up. Maybe roll the shoulders forward, up, back, and down, allowing them to slide into their place on your back. And then hands come to a comfortable position on your thighs. And then connect with your breath. We won't be doing those breathing exercises we did the other day, so you probably won't need a tissue, but yeah, so just a more, a less, what do I say, a more relaxed breathing this morning. So connecting with your breath, just begin to follow it as it enters and as it flows back out. Not attempting to fix the pace at this point or where it's going, just following it. And check in with your body this morning. Just notice how you feel. If there's any little tightnesses or aches or other feelings that may be coming up in your body right now. And if you are finding anything, for example, I have some stiffness in my neck, just see if you can direct the breath a little bit there as it comes in and as it leaves. And with the breath, allow your body to just let go, to relax into its shape. The spine is balanced on your sacrum, floating up, and everything else is kind of dropping off of that. And we'll do a few Durga breaths, the breath where you treat your breathing apparatus like a vase. So inhale deeply into your belly, filling up into your ribs, and finally into your chest. And maybe hold it for a beat, feeling all the fullness. And then exhale, chest, ribs, belly. And again, inhaling deep down into the belly, filling up into the ribs, topping off at the chest, and exhaling from the chest, the belly, all the way down to the pit of your belly. And one more, inhale, belly, ribs, chest. And this time, see if you can take just another tiny little sip into your chest, really filling up. We'll hold it for a beat. And then exhale, let it out, chest, ribs, belly. And with this next inhale, let's reach the arms out just to shoulder height. And maybe rotating them a little bit forward, all the way forward as far as you can, thumbs turned behind you. And then rotating the arms back up so the palms face up, the upper arms are turned towards the front of the room. And inhaling to turn the arms back down. Maybe the backs of your elbows are facing the ceiling. And rotate it again. Palms face up, eye of the elbow faces up, shoulders slide down. And then with the next inhale, bring the hands all the way up, interlacing the fingers, pressing the palms up, noticing which finger's in front, because as you know, we'll do this again on the other side. Maybe inhale to press your heart forward and up. Press the pinkies back behind you. And then exhale to allow the arms to fall back down. And then on your next inhale, reaching wide and coming up and interlacing your fingers the other way, if you remember which way that was. And then press the palms up to the ceiling. And press the pinkies back as you, with an inhale, press the heart forward and up. And then exhale the hands back down. And we'll inhale to sweep the arms out and up. Turning to the left, bring the left hand behind you as you bring your right hand to the outside of the left thigh, extending for length in your spine. And then exhaling to twist a little more. Bringing your chin towards that left shoulder as so you're gazing at the back wall. Endeavoring to keep your collarbones broad as you twist. And on your next inhale, we'll turn the chin to face the right shoulder. Give the neck a little twist this morning. And on your next inhale, flip the left palm, bring the arm up alongside your ear and bend the right shoulder towards that right knee. Keeping the left sit bone grounded down so that you get a nice stretch along your side body. And on your inhale, come back up and we'll release back to center. Maybe roll the shoulders once or twice. And we'll take the other side. Inhale to sweep the arms out and up. Exhale to twist to the right. Right hand comes behind you, left hand to the right thigh. Pressing the shoulders away from your ears, shoulder blades come towards each other on your back. Inhaling into the chest and exhaling. Keeping the collarbones broad as you endeavor to twist just a little more. Your chin comes towards your right shoulder. And on your next inhale, bring the chin to the left shoulder, giving yourself a little twist there. And then we'll inhale to flip the right palm, bring the right arm alongside the ear, and bend the left shoulder towards the left knee. Keeping that right sit bone grounded down. Maybe even here, attempting to press your heart forward and up. Continuing to breathe. And then inhale the arm up, returning to center. Maybe taking a few shoulder rolls, backwards and forwards. And we'll come to tabletop. Palms under shoulders, knees under hips. Tops of the toes can press into the mat, or you can tuck your toes. Inhale to lift the tailbone, lift the collarbone, lift the gaze. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, press the spine up towards the ceiling, drop the head. You can even tuck your chin towards that notch in your collarbone for a little extra neck stretch if that would feel good in your body. And inhale to lift the tailbone, relax the rib cage, lift the gaze. And exhale, tuck the tailbone, pressing the spine up towards the ceiling, maybe tucking the chin. Inhale, lift the tailbone, lift the collarbone, lift the gaze. Now with this exhale, option to tuck your toes and bring your knees to a hover. Just gives you a little extra ab work if that sounds like that would be something you would like this morning. And then lower the knees to come into your cow pose, lifting the tailbone, broadening the collarbone, lifting the gaze. Exhale to tuck the tailbone with the option to lift the knees as you press your spine up towards the ceiling. And then exhale to release the knees down to the mat. Coming to a neutral spine. We're going to take a minute and do that backwards wrist stretch. So turning your right palm so that it faces up and the back of your hand is on the mat, pressed into the mat. Fingers are kind of wide. Rock your hips back just a little bit. Take your forearm with you and maybe intensify the stretch a bit. And then when you come to a spot that feels good, just do a little gentle rock back and forth to open up the wrist and the back of your hand. Just gets at some muscles that we don't often get to. You can even do little circles with your forearm to kind of circulate that pressure around the back of the palm. And then when you've had enough, just shake the palm out. And we'll come to the other side, flipping the left palm, placing the back of the left hand on the mat, fingers point towards your knees. Spread your fingers a bit, and then just rock back and forth to get a little stretch into the back of the hand there. And after you've done that a few times, maybe make circular motions with your forearm to come into some of the areas around the edges of the back of your palm there. And when you've had enough, bring that palm up, shake it out. And returning to tabletop. We've got one more thing in tabletop this morning. Inhale to extend the right leg long. Foot is flexed, heel is hip height. And then bend the knee and begin to pump the foot towards the ceiling. So it's as though you were going to place your foot on the ceiling. Just pump it up and down a little bit. Maybe seeing if you can pump it a little higher. And then option to reach back with your left hand and grab that right ankle and find a stretch, pressing your foot back towards the wall behind you. You may be able to get a nice stretch across the left side of your chest. If this doesn't work in your body this morning, no worries. You could also just take your left arm forward and find that long stretch. And then returning to the mat, we'll take the other side. Extend the left leg long, hip height, foot is flexed, heel towards the ceiling. And then bend the knee and pump the leg up and down a little bit as though you were tapping the ceiling with your flat foot. Seeing if you can get that foot a little higher. And then if it seems like a good idea, take your right arm around, grab that left ankle, if you can find it, and opportunity for a stretch there. Flexing that left foot and pressing the leg behind you to open up your right chest there. And then we'll exhale and let that go. And take a moment, sink your hips back to your heels. Take a moment in child's pose. And creep your left hand over to your right hand, placing your left hand on top of your right hand. So you can get a little side stretch here. If your head reaches the ground, you can kind of press out with your left ribs and press back with your left hip and get a little stretch here. Breathing into that space. And then we'll walk our hands over to the other side. Right hand on top of left hand on the left side. Forehead comes to the mat or chin if that works for you. And pressing out through your right ribs, pressing back with your right hip, finding that stretch on this side. And then coming back to center. We'll inhale up to tabletop and rock forward a bit so that your chest is right over your thumbs, as though we were going to do Ashta Pranam. And on your inhale, sink the hips down, press your chest forward between your arms, coming up into kind of an up dog shape, pressing shoulders away from ears, pressing heart forward. And then on your next inhale, returning through tabletop, sinking the hips back down to your heels. And we'll do another one of those. Inhale to rise up, sliding the chest forward so it's above the thumbs, and then sinking the hips, coming into that up dog pose, shoulders pressing down your back, heart presses forward between your arms, gaze is straight ahead or possibly up a little bit. And then inhale to take the hips through tabletop back to your heels. And I'm going to add an optional variation. So inhale to come up, and as you bring your chest towards your thumbs, bring the knees off the ground. This is optional. And then as you sink your hips, keep your hips and your knees off the floor and press your heart forward. And then inhale to come back up to plank pose, lower the knees, sink back into child's pose. And we'll do another one of those. Inhale to come forward, option to stay with the knees down or take the knees up. Sink the hips and press the chest forward between the arms. And then on your next exhale, lower the knees if you had them up, sinking the hips back to the heels, returning to child's pose. And on your next inhale, press the hips up towards the ceiling, coming into your first downward dog of the day. Feet are about hips width distance. Maybe you pedal them out, lowering first one heel, then the other as you bend your knees. Pressing the tailbone towards the ceiling. Palms press into the mat. Eyes of the elbows roll forward. Shoulder blades press down your back. And then coming to stillness here, we'll take a slow walk to the top of the mat, ending in a forward fold. Feet at a comfortable distance apart. And then option to take opposite elbows and just swing your head a little bit back, sway your body back and forth. Shake your head, yes, please, and no, thank you. All gentle movements. Keeping that soft bend in your knees so you can fold deeply. Maybe even bringing your chest to your thighs. Check your head again to see if your neck has let go. Maybe give the head a little shake. And then on your next inhale, release the arms, begin to roll up, stacking vertebra on vertebra. Coming all the way up to stand. Shoulders roll forward, up, back, and down towards your back pockets. Neck is long. Begin to tease your shoulder blades towards each other on your back. That may open your palms towards the front of the room. It may not. And take a couple of breaths here. This is Tadasana. On your inhale, we'll sweep the arms out and up. Exhale to fold through center, tracing the midline with your palms. Drop the head. Inhale to a long spine, pressing tailbone back, crown of the head forward. Exhale to fold and drape. Inhale to sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, hands through heart center. Another one, inhale to sweep out and up. Exhale to fold in half. Inhale to press out to that long spine. Exhale to fold like a noodle, let it all go. Inhale to sweep out and up. And exhale, hands through heart center. Last time, inhale, sweep out and up. Exhale, fold in half. Inhale, come to a long spine. Exhale, plant the hands, step the left foot back, and spin the heel down. We're coming up to warrior two, so you want your heel to heel alignment or heel to arch alignment. Extend the right arm long in front of you alongside your right ear. Actually, left arm in front of you alongside your left ear. And allow that arm to windmill you up, coming into warrior two. Finding a nice bend in your knee. Maybe today you take a slightly deeper bend. Maybe you take a bend not as deep. Listen to what your body's telling you today. And then on an inhale, we'll straighten the right leg, straighten the front leg, spin the foot so that they're parallel to the side mat. And then interlace your hands behind your head under that ridge that you feel at the back of your head. Maybe noticing which finger is on top. And on an inhale, press your chest up, take your gaze up, and press your elbows away so that they were almost as though they were coming towards each other behind your body. Finding a nice, hopefully a nice shoulder stretch. Play with where your shoulders are on your back. You may want to press them further away from your head, or maybe just focus on pressing them together. See where you get a better stretch. And then on an inhale, come up. We'll return to warrior two. Finding that nice deep bend. And then inhale to bring the right forearm to the right thigh. Left arm comes alongside your ear. Finding length from the outer edge of your back foot all the way through your left fingertips. And so somebody could come along and just lay a 2x4 along the side of your body, and it would just lay there perfectly flat. And then inhale to rise up, sweeping the sky with your hand, coming into radiant warrior. Feeling that opening along the right side of your body. And then exhale, bringing right forearm to right thigh. Left arm comes alongside the ear. And inhale, left arm dances down the left leg. Right arm sweeps up, painting the sky, finding an arch behind you. And one more round. Inhale to bring the forearm down to the thigh, coming into side angle. And then on your next breath, rising up to radiant warrior. And then straighten the front leg, coming into radiant triangle. Maybe you find even a little more length at your stretch here. Option to gaze down at your back foot if that would feel good in your neck, or keep the gaze up towards the ceiling. And then on your next inhale, rising up, keeping the front leg straight, arms are out to a T shape. On an inhale, we'll send the right hip back as we stretch the right arm forward, finding all that length along the right side of the body. And then when you can't find any more length, allow the right arm to come down somewhere on your right leg, whether it's shin or thigh. And sweep the left arm up high, fingers pointed towards the ceiling. Finding two axes of length here, one from right hip to right shoulder, and then one from left fingertips down to both feet. So you've got two lengthening in two directions here. And breathing here. Maybe Coax your right thigh bone more under your left hip. It may feel a little bit like tucking your tailbone. And then we'll inhale, allowing the left arm to lead us back up. Bring hands to hips. We're going to hop the left foot out and forward so that we're setting up for pyramid pose. So you want your front foot still facing the top of the mat. Back foot is at a 45-degree angle, roughly. Your body may vary. You want to be on railroad tracks, so space between the feet. And you want to be able to direct your hips, both hips, towards the top of the mat. So you may need to shorten your stance a little, see what works for your body. And then coming to your favorite arm grasp behind your back. You can grab opposite elbows, you can grab wrists. If you can do reverse prayer, which I can't, but you get the idea, that's also an option. So taking your favorite grip, we'll inhale to a long spine. Turn the torso so that it's more facing the front leg. And then exhale, keeping that long spine. Begin to fold over that front leg. And take a breath here. Spine is long, neck is long. And then you can continue folding, dropping the head, bringing the chest towards the knee. Don't worry if the chest doesn't get there. And let the head go. Taking a few breaths here in your pyramid pose. Maybe coaxing that right hip back a little bit as you perhaps press the left hip forward a little bit. And then on your next inhale, coming up to a long spine halfway up, and then continuing, finding a soft bend in the knee perhaps to help rise all the way up. We're going to come into warrior 3, so we'll be balancing on the front leg. Couple of hand options here. You can bring hands to hips if that is what feels good in your body. You can bring hands to heart center. You can bring your arms out to airplane, finding what works for you. We'll begin to pour weight into that front leg, finding perhaps a soft bend, and begin to lift the back leg off the ground as you tip forward so that you're coming into a corkscrew shape. Your leg and your torso, your lifted leg and your torso are like the handle. Your standing leg is like the corkscrew, a T shape. And just breathing here. Maybe teasing the right hip down just a bit to keep it level with the left. There's a tendency to lift the hip when we lift the leg. Pressing out through the back heel, pressing forward with the crown of your head. Breathing here. Noticing how this feels. And then on your next exhale, just plant the hands, coming into standing split. Allow the head to drop. The torso and the arms are all relaxed. The only thing really working right now is your legs. And then on your next inhale, extend that back leg long, coming down into a lunge. There we go. And plant the left hand alongside the right foot. We'll open up to a side twist here. Extending from left palm on the mat to right fingertips up towards the ceiling. Finding length along that left leg. And then on your next exhale, bring the left hand down, planting it on the other side of your front foot, or your right hand. It's the right hand, isn't it? Planting it on the other side of your foot. Inhale to step the front foot back to meet the back foot, coming into plank pose. Lower knees, chest, chin, Ashta Pranam. Inhale to slide forward onto your belly. And exhale to tuck the toes. Send the hips back towards the heels, coming through child's pose. Option to stop here for a breath or two if you would like, or pressing up into downward dog. And once you're in downward dog, inhabiting it a bit, rocking your hips back and forth, side to side. Maybe you send your weight forward into your hands and back into your feet. And as you're ready, we'll inhale the right leg high. Left leg high. Exhale, bend the knee, plant the foot alongside the left thumb. Spin the right heel down. You know where we're going. We're coming into warrior two. Sending the right arm forward and allowing it to windmill you up into your warrior two shape. Finding your shape here. Finding a knee bend that feels good to you this morning. It may not be the same depth as the other side. And sliding the shoulder blades down your back. We'll inhale to straighten the front leg, spin the feet to match so that they're both towards the long right side of the mat. And then bring your arms up above your head, interlace the fingers the opposite way. If you remember, if you don't, it's not a big deal. Bringing your interlaced fingers behind that ridge in the back of your head so that you've got your fingers interlaced, pressing into the ridge of your head. Your head is pressing back into your fingers. Inhale to fill the chest, press the heart up towards where the wall meets the ceiling. Gaze comes up, and then press your elbows away from each other as though you're bringing your shoulder blades closer together on your back, bringing your elbows towards each other behind your body, finding that stretch for your shoulders. Maybe playing a bit with where your shoulders are. Do you get a nice stretch if you press your shoulder blades together, if you press them down? What works for you? Maybe you like to press one shoulder blade a little harder than the other, go back and forth. Opening those elbows. And then inhale to rise up, extending the arms to a T, spinning that front foot out, returning to warrior two. And then we'll inhale to flip the front palm, sweep the arm up to paint the sky, right arm dances down your right leg, finding all that stretch on the left side. Keeping that nice bend you have in that front knee. And then on your next inhale, bring the left forearm down to the left thigh. Right arm comes up, coming into side angle. Maybe a gentle pressure of your right forearm, your left forearm into your left thigh to keep that leg open as your right arm extends up. And then we'll flow a little bit here. Inhale to release the right arm down, left arm sweeps up across the ceiling, finding that opening. Exhale to bring the left forearm to the left thigh, right arm comes alongside your ear, stretch on the right side. Inhale to allow the right arm to dangle down, left arm sweeps up, keeping that nice bend in your knee. Exhale to bring left forearm to left thigh, coming into side angle. And one more time, radiating your warrior up. And then we'll straighten the front leg, finding radiant triangle, noticing how this feels different in your body from radiant warrior. And on your next inhale, bringing the arms out to a T, we'll begin to draw the left hip back as we extend the right fingers forward, finding that length as though we were going to lay our torso down on a tabletop. And then when you can't stretch anymore, allowing the left hand to come to somewhere on your left leg as your right arm extends up towards the ceiling, fingers stretching towards the ceiling. Both sets of shoulders draw towards your sacrum on your back. Extending the tailbone long and maybe tucking it under just a bit. Feeling that length in two directions, the length from your left hip to your left shoulder. Maybe you can make that just a skosh longer, pressing that left hip back a little more. And then all that space across your chest. And on your inhale, we'll allow the right arm to draw us back up, coming to that T shape. Bringing hands to hips, we're going to hop back out into that pyramid pose. So front foot still faces the top of the mat. Back foot comes closer, more like a 45-degree angle on the toes. See if you can point both hips towards the front of the mat. You may need to change your stance to be able to do that. And then finding your favorite hand clasp behind your back, whether it's palms, elbows, reverse prayer. Inhale to find length in the spine, pressing the chest up. Exhale, taking all that length, begin to fold over the left thigh, pausing about halfway up. And in this pause, press the tailbone back as you press the crown of the head forward. Maybe pressing the left hip back just a bit. And then allow your torso to complete the journey. Nose comes towards the knee, head relaxes. And breathe here. As you breathe, notice if there is any tension in your body, any holding that you actually don't need to hold this pose. Maybe you're holding in your neck. Give your head a little shake if that's the case. Maybe you've got tension in your forehead. Maybe there's tension somewhere else that you're feeling, maybe in your hips. See what you can let go of here. And then on your next inhale, leading with the crown of the head, we'll begin to come up, pausing halfway to once again connect with that long spine, tailbone pressing back, crown of the head pressing forward. And then finding a soft bend in the knee, pressing all the way up. We'll set up for warrior three. Maybe you want hands on hips. Maybe you want hands to heart center. Maybe you like airplane arms. Find what works for you. And then bringing a soft bend to the left knee, coming to your right toes. Begin to fold forward, extending that right heel back, finding length in the leg and length in the torso as you begin to tip. Imagining you're coming into a T shape. You don't have to. As soon as you take that back foot off the mat, you are in a balancing pose. So do listen to your body and do what it wants you to do this morning. Noticing how this pose shows up on this side of the body. Maybe finding a little more length in that lifted leg, flexing the heel. Maybe finding a little more length from the sacrum to the crown of the head. And then on your next exhale, allow your hands to come to the mat, coming into a standing split. Back foot is extended, foot is flexed. Torso is relaxed, head drops. You've likely got a soft bend in your standing knee. And then on your next inhale, extending that foot back, come to the ball of your foot back there on the right side so that you're in a lunge. And then planting the right hand on the mat alongside the left foot, we'll open up into a twist, extending the left arm high, finding length from palm of the right hand through fingertips of the left hand, finding length in that right leg. And then exhale to bring the left hand down to the mat, framing up the left foot. We'll step the left foot back to meet the right. Lower knees, chest, chin, Ashta Pranam. Pressing shoulders away from ears. Elbows come alongside your ribs. Inhale to slide forward onto your belly. Pressing the chest up. And exhale to tuck the toes, sink hip back to heels to child's pose. We'll take a couple of breaths in child's pose here. You can extend your arms long. Option also to take your arms alongside your body so that your hands come by your feet. Sometimes that feels better depending on what you've been doing. Take a few breaths here, maybe rock a little bit side to side. And then as you're ready, extend long onto your bellies. Everything comes to the mat. Legs are long, maybe hips width distance apart. Arms are long alongside your body. Thumbs point outward, palms are on the ground. You can bring your chin to the mat or your forehead, depending on what works better in your body. We'll take a few locust poses here. Inhale to lift the torso, head and neck come along for the ride, shoulders come along, lift the hands, lift the legs. Breathe here. You're basically balancing on it's like an upside down bowl. You feel the rim from your pelvic bone around your rib cage. Your breathing may cause you to rock a little bit. With your next inhale, see if you can find a little more length from your feet all the way to your crown of your head. And exhale to come down, bringing one cheek to the mat. We're going to do another one of these. You have the option, once you get up there, of bending your legs and grabbing your ankles, if that would feel good. So just a heads up. So setting up to start, bringing your chin or your forehead to the mat. Inhale to lift the chest, lift the shoulders, thumbs point up, neck is long, gaze is down, lift the legs. Option to bend the knees, reaching back to grab the ankles, and then pressing the ankles away, coming up into a bow pose. And if you are in bow pose, you may particularly notice a rocking as you breathe. Noticing how this feels. You can get a little more stretch in your chest if you press out a little more with your feet. Or another alternative is to bring your heels towards your bum if you want a little bit more of a quad stretch. And on your next exhale, allow everything to come to the mat, bringing your other cheek to the mat. Maybe rocking your hips side to side. Maybe bending your knees and rocking your legs side to side. And then inhale to press up, coming over onto your back. We'll take a few bridge poses. Bringing your feet, soles of your feet to the mat, roughly hips width apart. Maybe your fingertips can graze the back of your heels. This is just to help you find a spot of strength for pressing down, but your proportions may mean that you vary this a bit, so do what feels good in your body. Palms are on the mat. There will be several options here. You can interlace your hands under your back when you get up there. You can come to robot arms where your elbows are bent and you're just pressing down with your shoulders and your upper arms. You can hold on to the sides of the mat. If there's one of those options you've never tried, you may want to try it today just to see what it's like. We'll do a couple of these so you'll have a couple of options. Inhale to press down, pressing the hips up, pressing down through the soles of the feet and the shoulders, pressing the heart towards where the ceiling meets the wall, and then taking your hand option, whether you're going to interlace your palms underneath your torso or grab the sides of the mat or come to robot arms, and continue to press down through the shoulders, whatever pose you're in, down through the shoulders and the soles of the feet. Imagine the knees are magnetized towards each other to keep them from splaying out. Breathe here. Can you press your chest a little higher and more towards the front of the mat? And then as you exhale, roll down from your shoulders to your sacrum. And option to windshield wiper the knees side to side, releasing some of the tension we build up in the low back there. And then coming back to neutral. Option to take another bridge pose in with any of those arm configurations. If upside down bow is in your practice, you can bring your fingertips towards your shoulders and press down with your palms and your feet. So whatever configuration you're taking, take a deep inhale, start with the feet, press the soles down, press up, press your chest towards the top of the mat, finding all the length you can from your heels to your shoulders, and continuing to breathe. And then on an exhale, come down from shoulders to heels, to sacrum. And again, windshield wiper your knees side to side. And now extend your legs long. Again, feet are roughly hips width apart. And we'll hug the right knee into the chest, squeezing it close. And then maybe trying to bring it towards the right shoulder. So you're stretching just in a slightly different part of the hip. Then take that right knee in your left hand and begin to twist over to the left. Allow it to fall to the left side of your body. Arms can come out to a T or to a cactus shape. And just allow the weight of your knee to give you a little stretch there in the hip. Option to press that top hip towards the bottom of your mat. That may be interesting. It may not. Continuing to breathe. Noticing if there's anything you can let go of here, any tension, shoulder tension, maybe tension in your hands. And then we'll inhale to roll back onto the back, bringing the right knee in for another squeeze. And then extend the right leg long, heel comes to the mat as you bring your left leg in for a squeeze. Squeezing your left knee towards your chest. And then just sliding it over and squeezing it towards your left shoulder. Seeing if that creates a different kind of stretch for you. And then holding on the left knee with the right hand, we'll gently guide it over to the right side of the mat, endeavoring to keep the left shoulder down as the left knee comes across. They may not both ground, that's fine. If this feels weird on your left knee, you may want to, either this time or for future reference, find something to rest it on, whether if you have a block or if you have books or a pillow of some sort or a rolled up blanket or towel. That may be a useful thing to have for this pose. Breathing here. And then rolling back onto your back. Bring both knees in for a hug. Nice squeeze up into your chest. And if you like that shoulder squeeze, you can bring the knees out for squeezes to their matching shoulders. And then we'll take a happy baby, bringing the arms between the legs to reach around and grab the outsides of the feet. And then extending the legs to about a 90-degree angle there. And you can roll around on your sacrum, roll around on your back. Maybe try stretching your sacrum down to the floor as you press your shoulders to the floor. They don't have to actually get there. Option to extend one leg straight and then the other, or both legs straight if that would feel good in your body, kind of coming to a straddle pose. And then when you're ready, on your own time, bringing the knees back to center and coming into Shavasana. Whatever that means for you. Maybe you need to layer up. Maybe you want an extra blanket underneath you. Maybe you've got a last pose you want to take. Now, because this is recorded, I have to end, obviously, when it ends. But if you are really craving a long Shavasana, you do not have to get up when I end class. So do what your body is calling for. This is your practice. Nobody's coming into the studio after me, as it were. And do allow yourself to sink. Sink, sink, sink. It's as though you were floating on a highly salted sea, so that you just float without effort, supported softly. Letting go of all the tension, relaxing your forehead, relaxing your ears, your neck, relaxing your tongue, relaxing your collarbone. Relaxing your sacrum. Letting go of the thighs, calves, feet. And just following your breath. I have a poem to share with you today. I'm sure it's by Billy Collins. I'm sure he did not write it with COVID in mind or quarantine in mind, but it just seems so appropriate for these times. It's called Forgetfulness. The name of the author is the first to go, followed obediently by the title, the plot, the heartbreaking conclusion, the entire novel, which suddenly becomes one you have never read, never even heard of. As if one by one, the memories you used to harbor decided to retire to the southern hemisphere of the brain, to a little fishing village where there are no phones. Long ago, you kissed the names of the 9 muses goodbye and watched the quadratic equation pack its bag. And even now, as you memorize the order of the planets, something else is slipping away. A state flower, perhaps. The address of an uncle. The capital of Paraguay. Whatever it is you're struggling to remember, it's not poised on the tip of your tongue, or even lurking in some obscure corner of your spleen. It has floated away down a dark mythological river, whose name begins with an L as far as you can recall. Well on your own way to oblivion, where you will join those who have forgotten how to swim and how to ride a bicycle. No wonder you rise in the middle of the night to look up the date of a famous battle in a book on war. No wonder the moon in the window seems to have drifted out of a love poem that you used to know by heart. Begin to deepen your breath, bringing small movements to your extremities, fingers, toes. Maybe taking some gentle rocking back and forth on your head or in your sacrum. And as you're ready, bringing your knees up to your chest for another hug. And rolling to the side of the floor that invites you. Taking a moment in gratitude to your body, in gratitude for the space, time and space you have for self-care, perhaps especially right now. And as you're ready, pressing up to a soft seat, bringing closed eyes or a soft gaze. And then reaching your hands around behind your back, encircle your left wrist with your right thumb and forefinger. And then come to a Jnana Mudra, a wisdom seal in your left hand, tucking the left forefinger into the crease of the thumb, so it's kind of like an okay sign. We'll inhale to lift the heart up towards the light. Maybe your gaze tips back. Exhale to fold over, sealing in your practice. The light in me honors the light in you. The teacher in me honors the teacher in you. The student in me honors the student in you. Namaste.